Baby, hello, nakupenda sana. Hello, mama, hello, wapi baby, mapenzi tangu. Hello, nakutaka sana. Oh, mama.
Hey, Manze, I know you agree your song inakuanga moto sana. That's the Gede Longer and the Fusion Music Star. Ngoma inaitwa Shika Simu. Karibu sana to yet another classic episode and fresh one of the Wicked Edition. I'm your host, Dr. Kingori, and it has been a running week, like running kukimbia literally. Because ukienda Thika police officers uko, they performed miracles en masse. Now it's funny because at beggars so police officers wakatoka mbio.
Unfortunately, there were children who seemed to have disability. They were wheeled here on wheelchairs. But upon arrival and interview, we realized that we could observe their muscles were working. And so we could ask them, can you just leave the wheelchair and walk? And the miracles happened.
Imagine, imagine Karawa kusukume na wheelchair alafu ufike station upate umemfanyisha. Yani alafu mpate Jesus alikuwa Karao. Ukitoka hapo Manze, it being general knowledge that almost everyone is running for office in the coming elections. Manze, kila mtu anaitwa honorable sijui nani kwa social media. We have already accepted that this is that year where we will see wonders in the name of politicians trying to win votes. Some will win, wengine wanaanguka hata before elections.
Wapi kura ya Raila Amolo Odinga? Kwa majina anaitwa Senator Kwaboka.
Sorry, pole sana.
Manze. Hey, kuna mjinga tuliona na hii clip akasema ati the last time Kenya alianguka na nguvu hivyo ni wakati Joho alifanya KCSE. And when I talk of politicians doing the most, one of the most common technique they use is dishing out money that I has seen someone even hanging on a chopper. Hii ilikuwa juzi Bungoma, ndio mheshimiwa at least amwachie kitu. Yes, we have seen people fight, and this week it went to another level in Kericho whereby Governor Hopeful, Honorable Charles Keter, allegedly gave some money to a bishop to share with fellow Kenyans. Then he decided to run with all the money for himself. In return, Kenyans responded by giving him the proverbial proverbially giving someone a run for his money. And this is one of the funniest chases I've seen in a long time. Manze. This has to be the best video impression of the crew that threatens to run for president every general elections. You decide to run, na uko sure hakuna mahali unaenda. Manze alafu jaribu kusema ati the election is a two-horse race. Uone vile wao jamu wakisikia ati wao si farasi. Now, I'd like us to break these stories down one by one. Lakini kwanza, we have a classic guest for this episode. She led the team that came up with and designed Huduma centers. She has spearheaded some of the greatest IT projects for the Kenyan public. You all know eCitizen. Our guest for this episode led the team that made it effortless to apply for passports and other government documents. And before coming back to the country, she was a senior advisor to the president of the African Development Bank and so many other accomplishments in and out of the country. Alikuwa na accomplishment mob to the extent that the president, Uhuru Kenyatta, had hunted her for a job back home. Tonight, she brings the good vibes to the Wicked Edition. Mwende Gatabaki is in the house.
Thank you.
Asante sana hapo sawa. We'll be talking to her in a bit, but first, let's break down the running week. Now, before tuende kwa the running week, we have a story from Deya where people are marveling at a case of a calf, mtoto wa ng'ombe, that was born with 6 legs.
Ng'ombe yangu ilipata mimba na ikakua. Wakati wa kuzaa ndio ilizaa ikiwa na miguu 6.
Mzee Kamau is looking to dispose of this animal at a fee, and in the meantime, he is looking to charge a few coins for all visitors making their way here.
Now, first was one day hawajaiona ng'ombe double cab. But I won't claim to know what that was, but I find it interesting how Kenyans can make money out of anything. Yani mzae amesema atalipisha watu kuona hiyo ng'ombe ya miguu sita alafu aiuze. This is a very good student wa Winston Churchill, ule alisema ile quote ya never waste a disaster. And when you come to think about it, all Kenyans are politicians. But I wonder how he will make any money this season where it's people who are getting paid kwenda kuona ng'ombe ziko na miguu mbili. Now, away from that, I honestly hope that Senator Kwamboka did not get hurt in this incident.
Kwa majina anaitwa Senator Kwamboka.
Sorry, pole sana.
Now, before nisikize hiyo clip mara ya pili nilikuwa nimesikia ni kama amejiita Senator kuanguka. Now, but then nikaisikiza tena.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
Kwa majina anaitwa Senator Kwamboka.
Sorry.
Before we talk about how unbothered the lady behind her was, as in hajali, I'd like to point out the symbolism of how this would reflect the different ideologies between Azimio or Kenya Kwanza. Kenya Kwanza ni bottom up, Azimio ni from the top to the bottom.
Sorry, pole sana.
Right on time, but mtajuaje Ben Githae ako Azimio? Ndani maze, na ni ndani kama ni ndani. Kwa wale wamekuwa kiuliza hiyo ndio inaitwa kuingia mzima. It's very common in relationships. Kwanza most recently ni vile Diamond maze alikuwa anakatia mtu na kizungu. Akaenda vizuri mpaka akaulizwa miaka yake.
Why do you have to think about it? No, I'm not thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. I'll tell you first.
Sorry.
But be fair to Diamond, mazinaweza penda kukuwa na hiyo do yenye unaweza rarua kizungu hivyo na bado wataiweka hivyo mzima. This just for jokes. By the way, I have no bearing as to who wins or loses in an election. I wish Senator Kwamboka all the best in her race for Senate in the August elections. But then again, huyu mama ako hapo kwa gari iko nyuma yake. Hajaguzwa hata kidogo na hiyo kitu imehappen mbele yake.
Majina anaitwa Senator Kwamboka.
Sorry, pole sana.
Mazi hata hajali, hata kufanya hivi ni kama unaenda kufanya kitu na hakuna kitu unafanya, hajali mazi. Huyo ni deep state. That's a very good impression ya vile haters usema serikali inaangalia wa Kenya kwa #lower food prices. Alafu, huyu jamaa mwingine naye, huyu bishop mwenye alipewa za macho, agawane na wa Kenya, akaamua kutoka mbio is a unique case. I think because of his body size, no one even dared to touch him. They were just shouting. Typical of Kenyans. As in, the much they can do, mkubwa akienda na pesa yao, ni kupiga kelele. I don't put words in my mouth. Sijasema mwizi mkubwa. Just to be clear. Why was he running, by the way? He could have just walked. By the way, for real. Na hii mbio hata uwezi mshangilia. Angalieni huyu jamaa vizuri. Angalieni huyu jamaa. Utamshangiliaje huyu jamaa? Hatia tuende. Na huyu msi ako kando yake anamwambia nini? We have a great show lined up for you. Please join us on the other end of this short commercial break. Tuko na one of the finest tech minds in the country. Mwende Gatabaki is in the house. See you guys in a bit.
Baby, hello, nakupenda sana. Hello, mama, hello, wapi baby, mapenzi tangu. Hello, nakutaka sana. Oh, mama,
Maze, welcome back to the weekend edition. I'm Dr. Kingori. I know, leo kwanza ni nzito sana. Let me start by making that clear. Because first, I know the word genius iko na different definitions, but hii lazima tuta agree that guest wetu wa leo ana fall kwa hiyo category. She is one of the leading, sijui kama mtu anasema leading minds in this country. Represent the country in different levels, different countries. She's an award-winning IT expert. Now, she's running for office, but mainly profile yake in how to do office. I promise you, if I was to start kuwasomea profile yake, tungeiwekea a different part of the show. Alafu tuende break, alafu ndio tufike tumsalimie. Mwende Gatabaki is in the house.
Thank you. Thank you.
Karibu sana. Karibu.
Thank you.
Karibu
Thank
sana.
you.
We are so honored to have you. One thing I think I have to mention to people is our guest, Mwende Gatabaki, was the leader, she led the team that came up with e-citizen and what we call Huduma centers nowadays. And I was very excited kwanza kuangalia how the concept works. After all the kupanga line ilisaidia watu. Though nilienda nikapata watu wanapanga line bado, but the services are more efficient.
Better. Yes, yeah.
Is that one of your proudest, one of the projects you're proudest?
Proudest? Yes, it's one of the projects I'm proudest.
Yes.
Because it's actually one of Jubilee government's best digital projects.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's in fact, when you look through Jubilee projects, it's a one that you never hear that money went missing.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm kind of proud of that. Yes. Yeah.
Haya, sawa ati one, ukisema hivyo ina sound poa na ina sound vibaya. The one project that money never went missing. And you have a very rich historical background. You've been raised by Mau parents. Like Mau. Like
yes.
Kujificha kwa kichaka Mau.
So you've been reading history, I can see.
Head to
yes. Yes. Yeah, for real. I mean, my father actually initiated the Mau movement, the independence movement. Okay?
Your father?
My own father. So that by 1952, that's when they were all put together and sent to detention together with Jomo Kenyatta and that whole gang. Yeah.
Okay, as in.
Yeah.
And it's interesting having that history na Mau. Na umefanyia wazungu kazi after.
Well, you see, the whole idea behind getting independence is that we are free. We are free to work where we want, you know, to go where we want in the world, etc. So I think we have benefited from that. They fought for that independence so that we could be free.
Kabisa.
Yeah.
And you're also a very good example to kill the stereotype that successful women don't do well in marriage, because mtu akiangalia CV yako alafu akupate kwa video talking about your marriage, your child, you're like, oh wow, it works, it happens. But then yours is different. You are an IT expert. Umetengeneza mpaka hizo mabooster za telecommunication, I believe.
Yes.
Kama I loved your conversation with Mshai Mongola, where you gave your experience in Kabul. I hope you can give us that.
Yes.
But sasa kama wewe ni mnoma unatengeneza hizo vitu kupanda huko juu, ukirudi kwa nyumba nani anatengeneza hiyo?
Actually, that's a contradiction. My husband loves cooking. So like on Sundays, that's a day I don't even go to the kitchen. I go when now he calls me and says, it's ready, food is ready. So, you know, my daughter and I go and eat. He loves cooking. Okay?
Wow.
Yes. But if things needs fixing, the fridge needs fixing, chances are, his laptop needs fixing, chances are I'm the one who say, let me have a look. It happens. So, I mean, you know,
reversed roles. When you're fundi?
Yes, me I'm a fundi. The bulbs are not working. I'll get the stool. Okay, I'm not exactly tall, yeah?
Yes,
so I'll get a stool and I'll be there fixing and he'll be there saying, so what's the problem? And I'll be explaining to him and I'm up there. Yeah, it's like this, it's like this, it's like this. It happens.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's funny how you guys mlipatana. For those who don't know, Mwende Gatabaki is Mrs. David Day. But watu wengi wa kumtandao wanajua David D. So how am your mismatch in a work, like an economist and an IT expert?
Actually, what happened is that I met him long before. I met him when I was 14 years old. I was in high school. Yeah, he was a friend of my brother's. I come from a big family. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he used to come and visit my brothers.
Yes.
And I thought, I mean, this dude is not exactly bad looking. And then one time he came to visit and my brothers weren't there. And he has that level of confidence that he didn't just go away. So I was reading my physics book. He sits down and, you're reading your physics book, the A-bot and the what? And we start a discussion. And because of how, I mean, my family has always we always discussed politics.
Yes.
It naturally came into the conversation. And I realized this is someone I could actually have conversations of all types. In addition to that, those are the old days when, let me say my family, because of my father being detained with Kenyatta, in my family you could never really say anything bad about Kenyatta. So this guy comes and he's telling me about how Kenyatta killed JM, and I'm looking to see whether my mother can hear that, to make sure, this conversation is not getting anywhere near the house.
Yes,
because for once, there was someone in the house
Bold
who could
enough.
speak the things we were not allowed to speak.
Yes.
That kind of thing. Yeah, and I liked that, his boldness. I liked that very much. And then he was very sharp. I noticed that from, he was 16 then. So I noticed that he was very sharp even then.
The president, to quote one of the articles I read, had hunted you, akuja akupea kazi. And around the time, I want to believe your husband, as in president amekupea job, your husband on the other end, ni chief strategist wa baba NASA, and that was before the handshake.
Yes.
You didn't have those moments kwa nyumba ya anakuja NASA. You didn't have hizo matibi moments kwa nyumba.
No, I guess the way we work is we separate politics from real issues. There's politics and the real issues.
Kuna politics and real issues.
Yes, there's politicking. Like now there's a lot of politicking.
Yes.
But they're real issues. They're no jobs. People are so broke right now. Those are real issues. So we can politic as much as we want, but there are real issues on the ground. So there are times you just discuss real issues without the politics. Because, for example, whether we are talking about Baba, whether we are talking about the government, there were real issues then. The project I was doing actually came from 2013, the Westgate bomb, that the whole Westgate incident, where we had these people, they come and bomb the place. We actually don't even know whether they actually died there or they got out. Chances are some of them actually got out and just walked home. So the whole idea started with our borders are very porous. Yes, so we have people coming in and out of the country anytime. We have people coming in even through the airport anytime. We don't know actually who is here. That's where the whole idea started. Why don't we have one single source of truth so that we know everybody who's in Kenya, anybody coming through the airport, we know where they are staying, we know where they have gone, we know, we can track their movements within the country. That's where the idea actually came from.
And politics is a very dirty game. Like you knowing the president, I believe, ndio akupatie job hata in a personal capacity, it would have been easier to campaign for a nomination position. You get nominated, badala ya kuenda kungangana na kina, yes. I'm saying Baba Yao because he's been on the show, so and he doesn't mind us making fun of him.
Okay.
So, badala ya kwenda kungangana na wao, why not just go the easy route?
Two things. Let me start with the first one. Women, we always keep away because exactly for the same reasons you're saying. We don't want to get into the dirty side of politics. Yes. We don't want people to say all sort of things because for a woman, they will say everything. They will say all sort of, oh yeah. You see, for a man, if you say he has 2 wives or he has three children from 3 women,
you are alive.
Who cares?
Yes.
But women, they start with you. She has 3 children. By the way, baba wa huyo ni that one. Hata masikio sio meona. They start even saying the eyes. Simeona ni ule mwingine. Na hiyo simeona ni ule mwingine. You understand? So, and for a woman, we tend to be a little bit sensitive about that. Men, couldn't care less. You understand?
Yes.
But because of that, women kind of have kept away. Like now we have 47 counties. We only have 3 governors, 3 women governors.
But we have 47 women reps.
We want to be represented at the high tables of leadership, yes. Public leadership. The president is a man, the deputy president is a man, governors 47, only 3 women. We want to change there. We want to change right there. Yes, then it trickles down.
Okay.
Yes.
Sawa. And in your experience,
yeah.
For how long have you been on the campaign trail?
Let me say campaign. It's now picking up like from October.
Yes.
But the whole idea of running for the position, this started way back, like maybe when Babayao became governor.
Yes.
And I asked myself, I think we can do more. I think we can do a lot more. Let's move away from just politicking. Now I know what you wanted me to say. I'm not going to say that.
I will say it for you.
You were about to put words in my mouth.
I will say it for you. I will say it for you. You looked at your degrees.
Apana. We have to move away from Kiambu, like I said, is a wealthy county, but we have serious issues. We have real issues that need to be looked at. So my take on that was some of the programs Babayao started, for example, Car Sober, is something I would like to take up, but shape it better. Shape it better, because we do have an issue of alcohol and drug abuse. And he actually started, it's a very good initiative, but it needs to be shaped better for it to actually have a lot more impact. So there are things I would actually like to borrow from him and actually, expand them and shape them better.
You have not been in the limelight, but looking at your profile, there are a few achievements that you have done. Does it make you feel bad that your husband stands out because he's been in the limelight, but you also have your achievements as a person?
No, I would say, I think it's our culture that men kind of always stand out. Like, for example, there was an article yesterday. They say the people running for Kiambu gubernatorial race, they say Kavogo, when they came to me, you know what they said? Wife to Devendei. They didn't even put my name. It's like I don't have a name. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's just part of how we are as a society. It's a man who carries a day. Yes. For example, I use my name as Mwende Gatabaki, but you'll always see that Devendei's wife. It will always be in bracket, just in case you don't know, Devendei's wife. So I think it's just how we are.
And for a marriage that has lasted that long with a beautiful story, and if we go back to culture, why Mwende Gatabaki and not Mwende Ndei?
Well, because when, that's a nice question. Okay, so Gatabaki is my dad. And what happened was, by the time we got married, I was already working for the UN. So I have my Kenyan passport, I have the UN passport, I have an ID, I have the passport, a special passport that I used to use for traveling. Yes. Because we used to do, when I was in the UN, when there was, let's say, war somewhere, an emergency somewhere, it's us, the telecoms people, who used to be sent on site first. So we needed another travel document where in the airport, you just pass, you just show it and you pass through, okay? So I had so many documents with Mwende Gatabaki that now changing them was going to be another whole process. I tried, immediately after I got married, I tried to even now say, and I was told, no, the name here, they're not the same. And we realized, and he was very comfortable with it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I said,
as long as it has no ulterior motives.
No, it doesn't. Not that I know of, no.
Okay. Sawa. When someone is running for office, people prepare for your money. How are you handling that with a husband who is an economist?
It's a tough one, because actually you mentioned something about money. There's some craze about money. That everywhere I go, I finish talking, people say, very well, you've spoken very well, but now, see you tuachie kitu. Yeah, it's that time. Yeah, so, and that's everywhere. Even when I go to the market women will tell me that. When I meet the youth, they will tell me that. Border people, they will tell me that. So it has become like the way of life in Kenya.
Yes.
Those things we need to change, because I'll tell you, someone will give you 100 today, but how far will 100 take you? Maybe today, and it's finished.
Care?
Yeah.
The saddest thing, do you think Kenyans care?
Yeah, maybe that's the saddest part.
I was told of someone from my friends in Kayole that he organized a meeting to bring Mudavadi to Kayole.
Okay.
And then when he brought Mudavadi, he decided to speak sense to the youth. Okay. And he was the organizer, he put everything together.
Yes.
Akambia, vijana, tusikule pesa ya politicians, it is selling our souls. I think by the time he was doing the next statement, alikuwa mtaa ingine. walimtoa hapo na ni alikuwa ameorganize kila kitu, wakabaki na mkutano. Sasa mheshimiwa ongea.
Sasa ongea.
Yes, that's the language they want to hear.
That's true.
And this is a creation of the system. People will never know the true value of what leadership should change. So people are so focused on immediate needs.
Now,
leo. You can't change that with.
It will take time. It will take time. It
So
will take time.
Kitu kienda.
Yes. You have no choice right now. But what I'm doing is focusing on putting people together in groups, because groups works. Group work. For example, I've seen women groups. You know, they always have these chamas.
Yes.
And they contribute kidogo.
Yes.
Then you can borrow, you know, table banking, self-help groups.
Yes.
I'm trying to replicate that with the youth. You know, because the youth are trying to also do different things, like I was in Kabete, they are doing. Some of them are keeping pigs, some of them are keeping chicken, and I'm telling them group work works quite a bit.
I've always encouraged that.
Yeah.
Always encouraged that.
Yeah.
But
So when I give them money,
guarantee?
I don't give them as individuals. I tell them, are you registered? This group, are you registered? So, and you normally contribute per week or per month. So this is my contribution, but I wanted to go to the kitty.
That's a very brilliant way
that's what I
to
do.
actually impact people's lives.
Yeah.
But what is your guarantee that ukimpatia a benefit hata na 200 kwa the group, baba yao akuje na 500, what is your guarantee that this is your vote?
There's never a guarantee. There's never a guarantee. No, there's never a guarantee.
So you are all betting.
You can say you are all betting, but at the end of the day, sometimes, by the way, people vote not because you made so much sense.
Yes.
People look at someone and say, hey, by the way, I can vote for that one. Okay? And it can be the way they look, you know, or how confident they sounded.
Yes.
Yeah? But there are others, right now, I can see a change. There are people who are saying, you know what? This time round, we are not going to vote for chamas.
Yes.
We are going for people who look like they can work
Bring
for
change.
us.
Okay.
Yeah? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel guilty calling you a politician. I feel
Yeah.
guilty to call you that
Uh-huh.
because of what we associate with politics.
Okay.
And I hope
That
our
is-
country gets to a point where leadership can be chosen. We can choose leaders on merit.
Yep.
But in terms of impacting people's lives, Kenyans will decide, and we wish you all the best in competing with Waitito and Kabogo. Sijui hao wengine. Wapi makofi ya Mwende Gatabaki.
Thank you.
Asante.
Thank you.
Sana.
Yes.
Asante. Welcome again and again.
Okay.
Na vile tumesema, we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Sindio? Haya.
Yes. Thank you.
That's it for the weekend edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. Kingori.